Hello everyone, and welcome back to Cook and Share. Today we're making Swiss steak. Ironically enough, this dish does not come from Switzerland. It's the process we use to tenderize the meat, and that we're going to show you. So let's begin with our ingredients. First, we have garlic, bell peppers, mushrooms, onion, flour, stewed tomatoes, and these are our homemade stewed tomatoes. You can use the canned type if you wish. Spaghetti sauce. Now any type will do, just use your favorite. Salt, pepper, cooking oil, and beef steak. You can use just about any type of beef you want. Here we've just used a cheap cut of beef because we are going to tenderize it and using the process known as Swissing. The first step is we put our meat in saran wrap, and I'm going to begin just pounding it out nicely until it's nice and flat and tender. Now I pounded this for about 2 or 3 minutes, and you can see I've just about reduced the width by about half, and I've doubled the surface area of the steak. So this should be nice and tender, and this is the process known as Swissing. Now that we have our meat tenderized or Swissed, and then I'm going to slice it into about, I'd say, 4-inch pieces. Something like this. And I'm going to cut all my beef that way. Now that I have my meat cut, the next step is we're going to dredge the meat in flour, so it's nicely covered on each side. And I'm just going to set it aside and repeat this process for the rest of the meat. The next step is to add some oil to a preheated pan, and then I'm just going to add my beef to the pan. And it's important not to overcrowd the pan so that you have some nice space between the meat. I just cooked this for about a minute and a half on each side, just until it's nicely brown. Now we'll just set this aside and repeat this process for the remaining meat. Now using the same pan, we're going to add a little more oil. And I'm going to add my onion and my garlic. And I'm just going to stir for just about a minute until they're fragrant. Now that the onion and garlic are fragrant and the onion's a little bit translucent, I'm going to add my bell pepper, my mushroom, and I'm going to stir for another few minutes. I've stirred these for about 2 or 3 minutes, just to the point where the onions are again translucent and things are just starting to tenderize and release their water. Now I'm going to turn off the heat. Next, I'm going to transfer everything into a pot, starting with my vegetables. My beef, stewed tomatoes, my spaghetti sauce, and we'll give this a stir until it's well combined. And we'll season with some pepper and some salt. And we'll give it a stir again. And we'll let this simmer over a low heat for about an hour and a half until the meat is tender. After about an hour and 10 minutes, our Swiss steak is done nicely, the meat is tender, and we're ready to serve. And this is our Swiss steak with a side dish of mashed potatoes. Believe me, this is delicious. You're going to love it. To find out more about this recipe and more cooking tips, visit our website at www.filipinocooking.net. And as always, have a great day and enjoy.